Today's litany is on the nefarious log-by-log chart and how it fools even the most capable professionals. Whether you work in finance, machine learning, or astronomy, the risk might be of consequence to you. Log-by-log charts are used to display power laws. Power laws are also scale laws. If you scale in on a power law on a log-by-log chart, it won't ever change shape. This is why we call scale laws scale-free. Power laws, or scale laws, can also be seen on probability density or probability mass functions. They have very high moments of order. This means that they are fat-tailed, highly skewed, and leptokurtic. This can make for difficulty in predicting a system. Power laws are natural faucets of both humanity and the universe. Power laws can also be witnessed in wealth distributions. They are a part of the reason why wealth inequality naturally occurs. One example of this is the 80-20 rule. This distribution was discovered by Pareto. Over 100 years ago, he realized that 80% of Italy's land was in the hands of 20% of the population, and 20% of the land was in the hands of only 80%. In many firms, 20% of the income will come from 80% of the clients, and vice versa. A different dynamic may occur. This includes a kind of scaling known as Price's law. In reality, the Pareto distribution doesn't always match up to exactly 80-20, as only the shape value of the distribution slightly matches up with the fraction. Other systems will also have a slightly different power law. Power laws are a fractal relationship. Hippies love talking about fractals, but for some reason do not like mentioning the power laws associated with income gaps. Power laws are inherent to many natural systems and can have dire consequences if they are messed with. Another famous power law is the Zipf distribution, which ranks the most common words in a language. It is said to work for every human language, even Esperanto. Kepler's third law of planetary motion, as well as the radiant heat dissipated from a surface, also follow power laws. Power laws may look like a normal or a thin-tailed distribution every day except one. This is why many academics are convinced that normal distributions, or bell curves, are the default distribution in statistics. We can sometimes identify a power law on a log-by-log chart. A log-by-log chart takes data and maps it into two different axes that are both on a logarithmic scale. You may also hear these charts referred to as LOGLOG charts by programmers. On a log-log, power laws, aka scale laws, will appear as a straight line. In theory, a power law won't change shape as you scale in on it when looking at a log-by-log. In real-life data, you might instead see some flaring outward due to noise on the left or right sides of the scale. It's very common for professionals to see a log normal distribution on their log-log chart and confuse it for a scale law. Log normal distributions are less fat-tailed than a power law. If you do end up with a straight line on a log-log and can safely handle the amount of noise, you still might not be able to say that you have a scale law on your hands. When you don't have a scale law, you can still call a change on the log-log chart scaling. Scaling on a log-log chart without a scale law is often rather boring, and in some cases viewing it on a log-log is nothing more than an aesthetic choice. There is a lot of prize money and limelight when it comes to writing papers concerning scale laws on a log-log chart. Unfortunately, many academics writing papers in machine learning have either gotten confused or are using technical language to mislead their readers. Often, an author will discover that the straight line on their log-log isn't a power law, but they will still want the fame that would have gone with proving that it was. They will subtly change the wording of their paper, and without a trained eye, you might not even catch it. The obvious first step in spotting a nefarious log is bowing in the scale. This might imply a broken power law, or something more tame, like the log normal distribution. When you see this referred to as a power law, there is a good chance that the author is mistaken in their analysis. An author might even shower you with saucy photos of straight lines on a log-by-log chart, only to never actually mention the phrase scale law or power law. They will repeat the term scaling over and over, hoping that you don't notice that the wording doesn't match the graphic. In truth, rather than writing that paper, they might be better off using Microsoft Paint to draw a smiley face on log charts. Look! We've invented a new form of scaling. We better go write a paper about it. And hope nobody notices the topic isn't actually on scale laws. Other authors are so nefarious that they try to present their semi-log charts off as scale laws. A semi-log is when only one of the scales is a log scale, and the other is some other scale. If you see a paper referring to a straight line on a semi-log chart as a scale law, you have already wasted enough of your time. Even if the graphic is correct and the line is truly a straight line, that still doesn't mean it's a scale law. Even after one surpasses the concepts of the bell curve, they shortly find that scale laws aren't the end-all be-all after all. Unlike the thinner-tailed log normal distribution, these straight lines are a result of other exotic fat-tailed distributions. There is also the concept of a broken scale law, which are different scale laws glued together. This is not to be confused with higher dimensional scale laws. Some professionals and academics are aware of these seemingly exotic distributions and take the easy route of ignoring them. This is dangerous. The math involved in interpreting these distributions is often too difficult and hard to understand for many. Many are frightened of going face to face with seemingly esoteric terms. Understanding scale laws is already hard enough without this extra workload. A great deal of lazy professionals instead choose to remain blissfully ignorant. They conjure up goofy ways to generalize the behavior of these systems into a two-dimensional power law. Such professionals are hypocritical as they criticize the layman for making a similar mistake when overgeneralizing the Gaussian distribution. Other brave professionals press onward, past the conceptual limits of two-dimensional power laws. You might even find yourself needing to add another log to the fire of your log chart. There's a whole menagerie of distributions that are fat-tailed but are not easily generalized into a power law. They still have fat tail ends, but with outliers in places you wouldn't expect from a power law. Other times, you can fairly easily generalize the data to a two-dimensional power law without much of a problem. Many of the scale laws we think we see aren't even scale laws. And it should be noted that not all universality follows a scale law in the first place. There are cases of universality that don't look straight on a log. Professionals in machine learning and other related fields are using log-by-logs as if they were dowsing rods that will magically lead us to water. In truth, these are very limited representations of a system. What we are left to rely on is the generalized holographic principle under Leonard Susskind. Total data does not contain future information. It doesn't matter how much data you stuff into your log, or how many logs you throw into the fire. The scale law might break or reveal itself to be a fraud. Thank you.